How we doing, folks? It's Richie Rich back yet again, and this time we're going to be doing a review of the 1995 classic film Friday, starring Ice Cube and Chris Tucker. Be sure to check this bad boy out.
You know it ain't no stopping all the dogs I'm dropping. It's Friday night, so
Wow, so Mamma Mia, Friday from 1995. This is, in my opinion, one single-handedly one of the funniest, black comedy in general, from this era in the 90s and even now, it's one of the most hilarious, non-stop entertaining thrill ride from the start to the finish of this movie. And I actually saw this Friday for the first time. I've got the VHS cassette one. But yeah, I first saw the iconic first film of the Friday series. I actually got it in, I believe it was a box set. So it had this one and the two other sequels, Next Friday and Friday After Next. So I had them for like a DVD set, like a trilogy, And what happened was, I saw this like when I was still in school. And what happened was, out of the three, so Friday, Next Friday, and Friday After Next, we always seen, me and the guys around my age at that time when we were watching this, we always used to think Next Friday was the best, of the three. That was the one that we always were most drawn to. We were like, oh man, of all of the series, Next Friday is the best. And that it only came after I started to rewatch the 1995 Friday that I started to understand that this is actually the best of the whole trilogy, just from the jokes, the actors who are in this. It has like an all-star cast, but it definitely is the strongest of the all three, and I'll explain a little more in detail why I believe in my opinion that the first Friday is the best of the lot. So yeah, just like my earlier review on Poetic Justice, just like that, I have the actual original VHS cassette version of Friday. You know what I mean? So this is how this was like old school, back in the day, and that. But I didn't actually watch this version of the cassette. I watched it, like I said, it was on DVD at the time, and it's like the first time I actually watched this, I think I didn't get it because it was again one of them times. This is an R rating, So I was watching this where I was too young to understand some of the jokes and some of the themes in the film, so I didn't get it. So what happened was, like I said, I watched Next Friday when I was old enough to watch it, and I loved that. I always enjoyed Next Friday, and then Friday After Next, and then I rewatched this mostly on Fridays, just like today, and I always just started to I just started to understand it more, and I got into it, and I just love this film, man. So with the tagline, a lot can go down between Thursday and Saturday. Friday tells the story of Ice Cube, but let me divert a bit onto Ice Cube. Ice Cube, was a big time rapper in the early 90s, and he was heavily known from the rap group he was at the time, N.W.A. Yeah, Ice Cube was part of the rap group N.W.A, who featured, Eazy-E, MC Ren, DJ Yella, and also Dr. Dre. It's all that whole their rise to stardom was all told wonderfully in the guy who actually directed this, F. Gary Gray, he directed Straight Outta Compton. It's told about their rise to fame, breaking out of that system to get to where they were. And the same director who actually made Friday, F. Gary Gray, I believe this was actually his first major motion picture, you know what I mean? So similar to how I mentioned about John Singleton on The Poetic Justice, he was again another string of young black directors being given this opportunity to make a classic, black film, and he so back to Ice Cube. So like as it was told in Straight Outta Compton, Ice Cube was one of the first members to disband from the N.W.A group, and with that he moved into kind of like, he didn't move, but in his like on his other projects he was able to do, I think his first like main one obviously was Boys in the Hood, and he actually he actually had the idea and the concept for what I have here, Friday. He even shows a scene in the 2015 Straight Outta Compton film of Ice Cube actually developing the script for Friday, you know what I mean? But yeah, like if you've seen Straight Outta Compton, there's that scene where Ice Cube's already left N.W.A. Ice Cube's son, who's portraying him in the film, he's like on the computer, and he reads the famous line from this: "You got knocked the F out." It was seen in that it was seen in Straight Outta Compton. So like Ice Cube already had this idea for this comedy hit way before they actually went into filming thing. He had the initial concept, and it just so happened that F. Gary Gray, he actually directed one of his greatest music videos. It Was a Good Day, and that was actually, obviously before Friday. So like as Ice Cube is playing the main lead of this film, his co-lead in this is none other than the fast-talking, widely entertaining Chris Tucker, Smokey. He's playing Smokey. So you have Smokey here, and you have Ice Cube playing Craig, and I felt like the casting for these two leads definitely works for this film in particular, because they both, why they're so good together, they both play off each other, like Ice Cube in this is very like the I wouldn't say serious, but he's just trying to get through this day, because what happened is from the beginning of this film, Ice Cube was working at a shoe store, but he gets fired because he got caught on camera stealing boxes, but they couldn't actually make it out it was him. But they were like, they thought when they were looking at the security footage, they thought the back of his head, it kind of looked like Craig, who Ice Cube was playing. So like he got fired from work, and he basically spending the whole Friday, just at his house. His parents, played by John Witherspoon, and I cannot remember her name, but she also appeared in Wayans Brothers as well. The Wayans Brothers TV show. She was the policewoman in the Wayans Brothers TV show. She also had guest spots in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But Craig's mother and her father, they want him out, because he's not, he's just like, he's that super senior, the one who's already too old to basically live in his parents' house and that. But yeah, Chris Tucker plays that role of that, that fast talking junkie, he plays it so great. It's just that, I'm pretty sure everyone's been there when, you've kind of got nothing to do and you're hanging around with someone who is like a friend, but you kind of know he's going to get you in trouble just by acquaintance, and it just so happens on this day, Friday, Ice Cube's not doing anything, he hasn't got a girl, he hasn't got nothing really to do, so like throughout the movie, Smokey, Chris Tucker, he keeps tempting him to do stuff for like, the first time, like whether it be like, smoke weed, break into other people's house, just do stuff that, I think, I'm not saying it's usual stuff that people do in the ghetto, but kind of like when you're, idle, what I mean, when you've got nothing to do, sometimes you do stuff just to, make the time go quicker, because you really are just bored. So like, as far as I know, I believe this was actually the first time I'd seen Chris Tucker, ever, because this is obviously before, he really became an even bigger star when he blew up with the Rush Hour series, because I believe Rush Hour came out late 90s and went on to the early 2000s and that. But other than that, around this time, the only time I'd probably seen him was on Russell Simmons' Def Comedy Jam, and then he did a few stand-up appearances like on the Arsenio Hall show, and probably another. Maybe he was on the Letterman show. I'm not completely sure on that, but like, he was just, he was around. He was one of them like young breakthrough comedians, like a Chris Rock, a Dave Chappelle, who was slowly breaking, slowly waiting for their opportunity and that. And this was a great vehicle for Chris Tucker, because I'm pretty sure even today they always identify him as Smokey and that, For me at least, I always, like I said, the first time I saw Chris Tucker was definitely Detective James Carter in Rush Hour 1, 2, and 3. But yeah, so like with Ice Cube and Chris Tucker, they just play the roles down, man. They're like, yeah, they play the roles good together, they work very good as like, buddies and friends in this, which they really are, and like with the main leads, so the other characters are like Nia Long, who's like the hot, super fine hot girl who actually lives in the block, because like the whole area of Friday is basically, I don't want to say ghetto, but it's basically the projects, you know what I mean? This could be like the same area in Boys in the Hood, it's just the, the same kind of, like the same kind of negative connotations you can address, you can identify with like the projects in like, it feels like Boys in the Hood or even Menace to Society. That's what is basically the main area in this film. So like Nia Long plays Debbie, who's like a really, she's a fitness instructor, and who's like Craig, who has had like a crush on for like a while, and he's just trying to get with her, but he doesn't know how to step to her. But the only problem is that Ice Cube already has a girl, and yeah, Ice Cube already has a girl named Joy. I believe I have on the cover, if you can probably see it. This honey right here, Joy, who's played by Paula J. Parker, who I think recently appeared in the Hustle and Flow film with Terrence Howard and Tajiri Henson, plays Cookie in Empire. She was also in that Wayne Brothers TV show as well. But Joy, like Craig's girlfriend in this, she is the definition of a fast girl, them girls that, I'm pretty sure, a lot of guys, I'm pretty sure some guys have like been through this, certainly I have, it's them girls you're just going to them just for like how they look, you know what I mean? But their personality is abysmal, you know what I mean? And it's just staying with them, it's kind of similar to like a version of a hood rat that, Craig's girlfriend in this Joy is, and the hardest thing is throughout the film, he's just trying to get with Nia Long's character, Debbie, who's like, she's a fitness instructor, she's got it going on, and he's trying to break away from this fast girl / hood rat in Joy. But, what common funny theme in this film, or what Joy does is like, Joy keeps calling the house, like where Craig, and I even forgot to mention Regina King, who, like I said, has appeared, who was like everywhere during the 90s, she was in Poetic Justice, she was in Jerry Maguire, she, voiced the Boondocks, Huey and Riley and that, she was also in this as well as Craig's Ice Cube's sister in this, Joy always keeps calling the house and keeps hanging up, just to annoy them, and she's like, again, she's that one, like, she wants materialistic things on Craig, like, what are you gonna get me? Man, and on the same lines of women in this, Kathleen Bradley, who was one of the, I think one of the women on The Price is Right show back in the day that was hosted by Bob Barker, she's one of like the, the female girls who always like help like his assistant on the show, them game shows at the time, they've always got like the pretty woman there as well, she was one of the she was one of the many females who was on that show, and she appears in this as Miss Parker, hi Miss Parker, hi boys, man, like this is she is probably like the definition of like like having a crush on a mature woman, a mature like hot woman that you could actually dream that, man, I could actually get with that, what I mean? So she's just like opposite the street from where Craig is. So there's times throughout the movie where Craig and Smokey are like just out and about on the street, and Miss Parker's like, with the hose, watering her plants, and she's wearing like skimpy outfits and that, just being like, oh, you drop your mouth and that. But she was, oh my god, mind-blowing hot in this film. So like there's like plenty of like even cameos throughout this film as well. Like you probably even some people even missing that. Like Michael Clark Duncan appears in this film, Bernie Mac, one of the guys again, he left us too soon. He was in this. The director F. Gary Gray. That scene when they go into the store to get, I think they're getting something from the drug store, to get something. Smokey. F. Gary Gray is one of the guys working and he's mopping the floor there. So there's even a lot of list of other cameos in that, but they're like the main ones. Yeah, and also like the other notable cast is like I mentioned, like John Witherspoon, who, man, legendary comedian, man. He also appeared in another favorite of mine, House Party, as well. But he plays Craig's dad, and he plays that good. He has that good divide of playing that this is my house, I'm the dad. You listen to what I say, and you can always be that goofy at times as well, like the cool scene is when like he's coming like in the opening scene, like Craig walks into the toilet while John Witherspoon, the dad, he's taking a dump, and he's like, how do you get fired on your day off, man? I want you to be a dog catcher. He gives him the newspaper for like job lists for him to find a new job, and he says like he wants him to be like a dog catcher just like his old man. And but yeah, that scene's just brilliant. And I'd say like the other notable actor in this is also Faison Love, Big Worm. He actually he plays the role of like Smokey's supplier of drugs, so he gives it to Chris Tucker's character Smokey, to deal around the block and that. And like once Smokey's made that money, he has to give it to Big Worm, and Big Worm gives it. It's that drug kind of game, people, And what happens on this day, Chris Tucker, because he's got the dope with him and Craig's not doing anything, he convinces Craig, I believe has never like smoked a joint before, let's get high, man. It's Friday. We ain't got nothing to do, and it'll make you feel happy, man. And what happens is, because like they wasted, they smoked all the joints, just by themselves, Smokey and Craig, by the time he goes to Big Worm, he doesn't have enough money to give back to him for the money he sold, for the dope the dope he sold. He didn't have enough money to give back to Big Worm. Yeah, then Big Worm basically like they meet because Big Worm is he pulls up to like Craig and Smokey's place, and he comes in like an ice cream van. I think just a way to be like undercover and that. But like he calls Smokey, and Smokey basically likes him. He says like, I got your money, but he like folds it over. Like he was meant to give him $200, but he had 100. Then he flipped it over to show him he had like 200, which was just lying. And then Smokey's like, oh, we just got high, man. We got effed up. And Big Worm's like, man, look, man, I'm gonna be here at 10 tonight, not 10:01, not 9:59, not 10:15. Look, if you don't have my money or my bud, I'm gonna kill you and your friend Craig. And Chris Tucker's like, you gonna kill me? But he issues that threat, like basically if they can't make that money by the end of today on Friday night, he's gonna smoke them. That's when it becomes the main point of like their, like what they have to do is basically to make that money, for the threat of their own safety, And then meanwhile, we've got Tony, I believe his name's Tony Lister Jr. He actually used to be like a professional wrestler, I don't know how long he did that for, but he appeared in WWF, not WWE. But he is basically the neighborhood bully, man. Like he's just a big guy who's riding a bike at a time, and he is the absolute personification of a bully, the complete definition. He just goes around to like different places around the block, you know, and most times he bumps into Craig and Smokey, and also another guy who worked at Ice Cube's place, I think at the where they were working, the shoe store. And you know, there's one scene where he comes up to him and he just like he takes his chain off him and he's like, yo, that's my grandmother's chain. And he's like, shut up, I knock your eyes out. It was like, he's just like, he basically takes what he wants because of his size. People are just intimidated from him, you know. So no one actually wants to kind of say like, man, why are you doing that, you know? Chris Tucker actually tries that. He's like, okay, man, why don't you just give him back his change? And his name's Debo. He actually has like this kind of cross-eyed thing, and he's like, what chain? And one time Chris Tucker's like, yeah, what change, you know? So it's just, everyone's just fearful of like getting their ass kicked, you know, so they don't try to confront him, you know. But yeah, there's so many like there's multiple like funny lines, you know, and classic themes, scenes from this, you know, even like that one like, damn, you know, when I think his name's Reggie, you know, who worked at was working where Ice Cube was working. He took his shades off, and he showed the eye like when from Debo like uppercutted him from that flashback it shows at the start of the film, around the early part of the film. But yeah, I think one of my favorite scenes from this film, you know, would definitely be the Bye Felicia one, you know. This is where Bye Felicia originally came from, you know. So I think, I guess for the newer generation, they think it was in Straight Outta Compton. No, kiddies. It was from Friday, you know, the scene where the girl, I think her name's Angela Means, who also appeared in the disastrous House Party 3 as Kid's wife. You know, she's like basically I mean, she looks like just a junkie, you know, like complete, you know, disaster train wreck of a female, you know. She comes when Craig and Smokey are just trying to figure out like how they're gonna make this money for Big Worm and that, you know, I think it's around that time, you know, they're smoking a joint just to release their stress and that, and her name's Felicia. She comes up to them and she's like, what you smoking at? You know, let me hit that. Then she says out of nowhere, which mind-boggling. She says like, I need to borrow your car today. And Chris Tucker's like, what kind of nonsense is that? You know, most people ask for ketchup, even sugar, but you want to borrow my car? Hell no. And she says like, I'm gonna remember that. And Chris Tucker's like, write it down, take a picture. I don't care. You know, and then like Felicia turns around, she looks at Craig, and she's like, you know, kind of like, Craig. Then Craig, even before like she even utters like the rest of her sentence, Craig is just sitting there down like this. Bye, Felicia. Amazing. That delivery, the way he said that, you know, and it's like, it's that kind of thing, just them two words, you kind of already know what he was getting at, you know, like, don't even waste your time trying to tell me, you know, like, you know, you want to borrow my car or something, you know, just like, it's like perfect way just to end the conversation, you know. I'm not talking to you today. Bye, Felicia. Perfect. But yeah, this is just definitely a fun movie to have, you know what I mean? Like, I even found out it was only shot in a month, you know, like nearly 22 days it got shot around the block, you know, so it wasn't in films, because, you know, usually films always sometimes take like maybe, you know, 8 months to like years, you know, to get like, you know, when they're actually going for locations, you know, getting the actors together and directing. Though he also had he only took 20 days, you know, and I mean, it's just a fabulous effort for Gary Gray's first, you know, major film production. And again, one common theme, obviously, from the 90s is the golden soundtracks, you know. Like I said, man, like, there was just something about the 90s era that had that New Jack Swing, colorful, you know, beats and music that, like, you know, a lot of the movies now don't have, you know. Because I'm not saying music has definitely taken a turn down of, you know, recent years and that. It's just a lot of people don't have that kind of unique themes now, you know, that unique musical quality that was so that was such a staple of the 90s, you know what I mean? Because, like, you know, just like I mentioned on the other reviews and that, this one, the Friday soundtrack, is another great one, you know. Like, one of my favorite ones is the Cypress Hill one, you know, the Roll It Up, Smoke It Up, something up. That one, great one. And even the main theme for this Friday, which was performed by Ice Cube, you know, when he's in the house. Oh yeah, for your neighborhood, throw your hands in the air, like you don't care, you know. It's I actually use that for my ringtone, you know. It's a top to bottom, just another great soundtrack. So like, let me mention my thoughts on this on the other sequels because yeah, like I said, I saw Next Friday of the three. So you know, Friday, Next Friday, and Friday after next. Next Friday was one we with me and even like you know my cousins and that family. We always used to see Next Friday. Even when we were in high school, we even saw that they showed that one day for like you know like finishing the school term. You know, they showed that as like a treat for the kids. You know, so Next Friday was one they always showing that, and it was only like until like I got like I said I got older, you know, and I started to watch it. You know, I was like, it's good, but it's still not good as the F. Gary Gray one because F. Gary Gray didn't return for the sequel Next Friday or even the other one because this took 5 years and it came out in 2000. So F. Gary Gray, he directed Set It Off and I think it was The Negotiator, but like he didn't return for the sequels because that's how this film feels, you know. It's like everything ends on the day. It didn't, I don't think it needed a sequel, you know, but there are a few laughs here and there from Next Friday, you know, with what's his name, Mike Epps, who plays Day Day, which is cool, you know. I think Mike Epps is a very, very good comedian, you know. I just feel that Chris Tucker, he kind of set the bar so high in Friday one that, you know, like he's, oh man, it's just his, you know, there can only be one Chris Tucker, you know, that fast talking and like, yeah, man, you know, his voice, you know, and just like how he just got Ice Cube in trouble for no reason, you know. It's just like, it was a very great performance. And it's like the little I say about Friday After Next is the better, you know, because again, that film, it just has like a lot of like, you know, stars that were like hot at the moment at the time. Like Cat Williams was in there. Who else was in there? Like the guy who played the Santa Claus, he also played in Def Comedy Jam, you know. But I don't really think that film you can take it as serious as this one or even Next Friday, you know. It feels more of like a direct-to-video release, you know, and you know that one was set in the Christmas time, you know. This one's obviously set like in more of like, you know, summer and that, you know. But I would definitely say that, you know, hands down, of the three, Friday is the best of the whole trilogy. Yeah, guys. So like, who would I recommend this to? I would say anyone who has probably watched the you know, like the house party movies that were in the 90s, of that kind of like you know, fun, vibrant, you know, black kind of culturific, if that even is a word, you know, films of that time would definitely like this, because a lot of like what makes like the house party films and even kind of to a certain degree Boomerang is contained in Friday, because it's not just a film featuring like all black actors that is not treated with respect, you know. Because why I say that is like Harlem Nights, which had like a stellar black the stellar full of like top black actors. That film wasn't good at all, you know what I mean? But this one was treated with very respect, you know, having like a strong narrative, strong principal actors playing them as well in Ice Cube and Chris Tucker, and a well-surrounded supporting cast, you know. It's a very terrific movie, and it's like it gets better with age, you know. You can watch this, you know, this was 1995, we're now like 22 years after this, you know. You could watch this 30 years from now. This movie will live forever. But yeah, and even in addition to that, this film, it captures the 90s. It is a strong like advertisement for how awesome the 90s period was, you know, like all of the, you know, the clothing they wore at the time, you know, the caps, you know, the jewelry, what was hot at that moment, you know, was like him shown in some way or form in this film, you know, which I've always, you know, I'm a truly big fan of the 90s, you know what I mean? And this is just a great exposure of it. So guys, man, that's my review for Friday, you know. If you get a chance, you know what today is. try and like try and sit down and have a watch of this, man. You will not be disappointed, man. It'll get you in stitches, just like it has happened to me on so many times when I've watched Friday. So yeah, man, guys, that's the end of my review on Friday. Let me know what you've let me know in your comments like what you thought about Friday. I mean, anything that I may have missed, just drop in the comments section. Like let me know like your experiences with it. What I mean. And yeah, man, that's I'm gonna be coming with you with one more, so the final one of the Black History Month review. And we're gonna finish it off with a bang and that. So yeah, guys, man, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedules to just watch this review on Friday, and stay tuned because Richie Rich will be back yet again, I assure you. Peace, 2 fingers.